Right across the city, playing nothing but the best in music from around the world. 24 hours a day.
Your community station. Southampton's Unity 101.
Welcome back to Good News, Good Stories here with me, Ram Kelly on Unity 101 Community Radio on Wednesday, the 8th of July. Joining me on the line is Lena Samuels. She's the chair at South Central Ambulance Services NHS Foundation, and we say good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon, Kelly.
How are you? Are you well?
I'm very well, and I hope you are too.
Okay. Well, before we go any further, what we are going to talk in detail, let's just remind what South Central Ambulance Service does. It's obvious, it's in the title, but let's just tell listeners what area does it covers and what service it provides and what type of service does it provide.
Thank you, Kelly. Well, people will, of course, expect that it provides an ambulance service for when people have an emergency, but in actual fact, there's so much more to what the service does. It's a care navigator. So with our 111 service, for example, non-emergency calls, people can telephone and find out what might be the best care setting for them. So it doesn't necessarily mean they have to go to the emergency department, but there might be other ways that we can provide care. So we do that care navigation as well. In essence, we cover pretty much 4 counties for 999 emergency services, and PTS as well, so that's patient transport services, and we also provide PTS in parts of Surrey and also Sussex.
And so just give some stats now. So how many frontline staff who will be actually conducting the work which is carried by the ambulances would be there? How many ambulances there are in terms of resources, and how much backroom staff are there, and the type of work they might do?
So we have just under about 4,000 staff, and we also have about 1,200 volunteers in our community first responders. And of course, they're in a variety of roles. So that includes being in a contact centre, answering the phones and providing, as we said, some of that care navigation. You've got people who you would see, of course, who turn up either in a specialist vehicle as a paramedic or within the ambulance itself. And we've got people who work within the patient transport services who go and collect people from their homes and take them to appointments over at the hospital and take them back home again. So there are a variety of different roles that people can undertake if they were seeking employment. And of course, we've got our governors who are really looking to see if we can boost and encourage people to apply.
Okay, we'll do that. So how is it funding then? Would you say it's a public service?
Very much so, a public service, part of the NHS, absolutely.
Okay. So during the COVID, well, we're still in the middle of COVID, right? Okay. Is the workload increased?
The workload, I would say, has become different, of course. So people are ringing up and have been ringing up in the early part of COVID, concerned, wanting to ensure that they weren't suffering from any of the symptoms that we were aware of at that time. But so it's been fairly stable with regards to what we've been dealing with, but probably slightly different. And as you know, we've come out of that first wave and hoping that as we ease those restrictions to people's movement, that we'll get back to a form of normality, if you like, in due course. But of course, we're keeping a watching brief on that.
We do. All right. Okay. Now, so let's start from. You mentioned your governors. Are the governors same as trustees, or is that something different?
Well, governors in the NHS and for a foundation trust are very distinct. They're volunteers, of course, so although they're voluntary roles, they are quite demanding and I would say also quite rewarding as well. In essence, they're the voice of the public, and that means that they come onto our board, they attend meetings, usually 4 Council of Governor meetings a year, and they also play an active part in helping us to shape our strategy. So there's the voice of the public, part of their duties is to go out and speak to members of the public and just get a sort of a sense of what they think of the service and give, collect feedback. and they also attend some of our committees, such as our Membership Engagement Committee, where they can feed back some of their findings. So the sort of people that we're looking for are people who are passionate about the healthcare, but also people who have got good communication skills, who don't mind talking to strangers and asking them what they think of our service.
And that's across all the counties that you serve?
So that's across our 4 counties in essence. So that will be Hampshire, Oxfordshire, Berkshire and Buckinghamshire is where we're looking for our governors.
Okay, so let's take it from the top. Is there you're the chair in that capacity, and below you'll have the governors, yeah?
So it's a very interesting kind of structure, Kelly, as you would imagine. We don't make things simple in the NHS. So because our Council of Governors... Why should we, yes. But so our Council of Governors actually sit above the board, and one of their other important roles is to hold myself and my fellow non-executive directors to account. So what that means is they seek assurance to make sure that as a board we're actually delivering on our strategic goals and making sure that we are delivering good and excellent care as far as we possibly can to the people that we serve. So they are there to hold the non-executives to account, and then with the non-executives, as a NED, what you do is you hold your executives to account, and so it goes. So they've got a very important role to play in provide back into the public, to let the public know what it is that we're doing and how we're shaping our services for them.
Do you feel that it's a bit top heavy on that level, and maybe the foot soldiers, the senior management team are sometimes restricted in what they want to achieve as quickly as possible, and therefore sometimes it takes longer, and the benefits to the public takes much longer, and then maybe the moans and groans starts coming in?
I think it's a really good challenge. Some of our governors are, of course, staff governors as well, so we get the voice of our staff coming up to the board, very much so. And I think what COVID has certainly taught us is just how adept and agile we can be in standing up services and being flexible in what we do. So I would say that we're a very dynamic organisation. We're not an organisation that allows administration to hold us back from doing the right thing.
Mm-hmm. Okay. How inclusive are you then?
I would say very inclusive, but of course it's important to try and look for new ways of engaging with different parts of our community, and that's the reason why I wanted to come in and talk to your listeners today. I'm really keen to make sure that we are representing, at our Council of Governors, the populations that we serve. So it's really important that we reach out to as many people, as many communities as we possibly can. Right.
Okay, so let's talk about who you're looking for and what their role is and what will that involve.
So we're looking for people, as I said, who really have got a passion for healthcare. They don't have to be an expert, but they certainly have got to have a strong interest. People, as I said, who've got good communication skills and good interpersonal skills. People who are, want to sign up to the values that we hold. We're very much a caring organisation. We're keen that people work within a team, that they're highly professional, but also that they've got a spirit for innovation. Innovation is really important when you're looking to adapt and improve your services. So someone who can subscribe and uphold...
Could you just elaborate that word innovation? What does that mean in simple terms?
So sometimes innovative thinking is simply about finding a new solution to an old problem, or it could be, for example, using digital to change what you're doing and how you're doing it. So perhaps I would think of an example of where, with our integrated care service, urgent care service, what we've done is we've managed to connect what our clinical triage is to GPs out in the community who can connect to our system and be part of the clinical advice that we're able to offer to people who telephone in. So that's an example of where you're using digital and telephony to provide a seamless service, even though you're not in the same building at the same time.
Okay. Particularly with COVID-19, it's even more poignant to be able to do that, isn't it? Yeah.
Definitely.
Okay, so let's look at the individual, male or female, right? Okay, and what backgrounds you're looking at, and what skill set they need, and what criteria they need to meet.
So they have to be 16 or over. That's the key thing. And we're looking for people of all backgrounds, all ages, over 16, all experiences, and as I said, simply having that interest in health and having good communication skills. The thing that they'll need to be prepared for, as you would expect, is our board papers can be quite lengthy, and we try and make certainly our Council of Governors papers as accessible and as interesting as we possibly can, and we've done quite a lot of work recently in changing the way that we hold our meetings so that they're a bit more interesting and a bit more connected in terms of the way that people feel involved, and they've got to have the time commitment. It's not a huge commitment, but it's 4 Council of Governor meetings per year in the evening. We also have 2 strategy sessions where our Council of Governor members help us think about how we need to change and adapt our strategy. As I said, it's a voluntary role.
Right. How long would this commitment would be? Is it for 1 year, 2 years, or longer, or is it?
It usually lasts for 3 years, and they can go up for re-election again.
Okay, and so these meetings are they held locally within the county, or do they travel too far?
So, as you would expect, pre-COVID, we would have met in person, but with the advent of technology, we've been successfully holding our meetings online and using Teams, and that has worked really, really well. So when they start, there may be a blended approach, a combination of meetings as well as, face-to-face as well as online, and we will try and make the induction as varied and interesting as we possibly can so that our new Council of Governor members can find out about our service.
Okay, so in a nutshell, you're looking for anybody who's over 16, have got different skill sets, and have really passion about health in all sorts of ways and guises, and want to make a difference in not only contributing to the way South Central Ambulance is running, but also to maybe input and shape it for the future.
Absolutely, in a nutshell, summarised perfectly, Kelly.
And so they need to have some digital skills because that's where it's happening during COVID. And so if they are, do they need to be having any medical background, or that's not necessary?
That isn't necessary. They don't have to have a medical or clinical background at all. Simply a member of the public who's interested in helping to shape the service on their local patch.
Right. How do they now? Okay, we know what we're looking for and how we can do that. Obviously, they need a good command of English. Mm-hmm. Okay, because that will be the common language that everybody will speak. Okay.
Yeah, ideally, but of course we will work with people who perhaps need a bit of support.
Okay, all right. So where do they apply, and what's the process of it?
So all of the information about how to apply is on our website, and that is, I'll say it and then spell it, is scas.nhs.uk/elections.
SCAF,
so
you say?
SCAS is SCAS, Sierra Charlie Alpha Sierra.
As a South Central Ambulance Service.
Exactly, so scas.nhs.uk/elections. And you'd expect us to be on social media. We're on Twitter, and that's at SCAS999.
Right.
And also on Facebook, South Central Ambulance Service NHS Foundation Trust.
Right. So it's these individuals, male or female. Okay. You want to make a difference to your community. It's vital that you sort of sign up for it. So having done that process, what is the next stage from there?
So once they've signed up, and the website will talk about, doing a statement so that our, the people who are voting are members. So Foundation Trust will have members who will then vote for the person, and so they'll do a statement. Once they've gone through the election, if they've succeeded in being voted on, then we will take them through their induction and give them an insight into the service and let them know all about the meetings and do all the usual things that you would get when you join an organisation. But I think for me, the thing I would say is, don't be afraid, don't be anxious, don't be worried. Our team's really friendly. We're really keen to hear from a wide variety of people. And for anyone who's curious, you can have a look at the website, but, get in contact and say, look, I'm not sure whether to apply. This is, where my interest is. And we will talk to people about what it involves, because sometimes, some people prefer to talk to people in order to get a bit more information. So I would say be brave, get in touch, and we'll love to hear from you if you've got this interest in wanting to become, a governor and to play, a really, really important part in shaping the services that, we're all going to benefit from.
Brilliant. Once again, the website?
The website is scas.nhs.uk/elections.
Lena Samuels, Chair at South Central Ambulance Service NHS Foundation, thank you very much for your valuable time to talking to me here on Unity 101 Community Radio. Good news, good stories, and I wish you a very good afternoon.
Thank you very much, Kelly.
Thank you very much indeed. Have a good day.